Today on The Young and the Restless, Sharon sides with Adam, Sally updates Chloe, and Victoria forgives Nate. At the ranch, Victor updates Nikki on his visit from Nate. When she points out that the COO went against Victor's wishes and lied to Victoria, he defends him and blames everything on Adam. He grumbles that he has to keep him in place due to the optics, but has no illusions about expecting trouble. Nikki's sure Nick and Sharon will keep him in check. Victor replies, "They'll try." Nikki asks, "So, what's your next move?" He says, "I enlisted Nick." Nikki asks, "To do what?" At Adam's place, Nick tells his brother he is doing everything he can to make their venture to work, but he keeps putting it in jeopardy. Adam says merging SNA with Newman Media makes sense. Nick snarls, "So you resort to blackmail." He adds that he has been successfully stirring up interest in their company. If Adam's interested, Adam sighs. He's been dealing with a family matter. Connor's been struggling. Nick's sorry to hear that but points out Adam had time to dig up dirt on Tucker. Adam says that's over. Nick fumes, "It's never over with you." Adam informs Nick that his anger shouldn't be directed at him, at least not all of it. He assumes Nick knows what Victor did to Sally. "She didn't deserve that," Adam declares. Nick agrees. Adam asks, "Then why do we keep putting up with it?" Adam and Nick discuss Victor hanging Sally out to dry. Nick insists she'll be fine. Adam complains it was cold and calculated. Nick muses, "Like a chess move." Adam thinks it's about them. It's another manipulation and power move, this time using a woman they care about to do it. Why isn't Nick more pissed off about that? At Newman, Victoria tells Kyle that her father is very happy he accepted the job at Newman Media. Kyle asks if there is something she wanted to discuss. She just wanted to see how he's settling in and notes he has to collaborate with Audra. "Talk to me about how things are going with your boss." Kyle talks business, but Victoria reminds him this isn't an interview. Kyle admits he's pleased to be someplace free of his family's drama. He talks up Audra and Victoria asks what it's like working with her. Kyle feels she's smart enough not to feel threatened when someone else has a good idea. Victoria asks if she ever talked to him about her time with Tucker and at Chancellor Winters. Kyle questions why she's asking him, not about himself, but about Audra. Victoria admits she's looking for his opinion on Audra due to his executive experience. She notes he seems protective of her. Kyle wouldn't like to see Audra become a casualty in the family feud. Victoria assures him that Victor knows about Adam's attempted blackmail. She fills in the details of the cover-up involving the singer and informs Kyle that because Audra came clean to Victor, her job is safe. For now. She assures Kyle that she won't tell Audra she shared this information with him. Kyle wonders how Adam still has a job. Victoria says investments were made contingent on Adam's involvement. She asks how he feels about merging Newman Media with SNA Media. Kyle says he thinks it would be a disaster with Adam still involved. Victoria agrees. She's happy to know she has an ally. Kyle feels the same way. Victoria looks curious as he walks out. At the club, Nate doesn't think Audra fully appreciates what a disaster they could have had on their hands. Audra thinks Victor admired her loyalty. Nate says that's not the reaction he got from his role in it. Audra made it clear he was only protecting her. She insists, "Things worked out." Nate shrugs, "For you." "For now." Audra asks, "Meaning what exactly?" A look back when Kyle Abbott and Summer Newman tied the knot. Nate insists Adam is still a threat. Victor didn't cut him loose and family always comes first. Audra deduces that's what's really bothering Nate. He's had to prove himself as an outsider. Nate complains that now he's in a position to have to explain himself to all of them. He tells Audra has been distant and wary. Audra argues the merger makes sense, and if the savvy businesswoman can't see that. Nate interrupts, "I broke trust, Audra." Audra counters that he acted in Victoria's best interest. She's just dumping her old baggage on him, which isn't fair. He's decisive and ready to take a risk. These are attractive qualities they share, and she can't imagine Victoria would want to change that. Nate asks if she's ever trusted anyone or been trusted in return. Audra doesn't make a habit of it. Nate informs her that next time she needs a favor, she should look somewhere else. In the park, Chloe tells Esther that Bella is on a kick about getting a dog. They laugh about her getting Kevin on board. Chloe complains that it will be like having another kid and she can't deal with it right now. Esther asks what's bothering her. Chloe says she walked away from her partnership with Sally because she considered an offer from Victor. Esther can't understand her cutting off her own future just because she doesn't want to work under Victor. Chloe gawps, because it's Victor? She insists that Victor always has an agenda and doesn't just go around handing out design divisions. Esther says Sally just lost his grandchild. Maybe it's his way of acknowledging the connection. She tells Chloe that the sky's the limit for her and Sally. Just then, Sally shows up. Chloe tells her that her mother thinks she was hasty in her reaction to her offer from Victor. She'd like to join her in the new venture at Newman. Sally sighs, "You were right not to trust Victor. He is not starting a new design division. Maybe he never was." Esther is dismayed. "Well, then why would he tell you?" Chloe interrupts, "Because it's Victor." Nick and Adam arrive at the ranch to see Victor, who assumes they're at odds over something. Adam announces that they've actually come about something they agree on. Nick tells their father that he offered Sally an amazing opportunity and then pulled the rug out from under her. Why? He accuses Victor of having no intention of following through. He wants to know if his father was trying to teach her a lesson or send her a warning. Adam asks, "Or did you do it just because you could?" Victor says, "You're both presuming too much." Adam and Nick sit, and Victor complains about them only coming together to protect Sally Spectra. They inform him she doesn't need protection. Victor insists it was just a business decision. Adam fumes, "You went too far." Victor jumps on him, "Son, you're lucky you have a job. I've had it with your constant defiance." He wants the merger to be accomplished by next week, and they'll announce the new company, SNA. "If you don't do it, I will." Kyle walks into the club and spots Audra. He tells her Victoria called him into the office. She was fishing for information on Audra, and he called her out on it. He told Victoria he didn't want to see her become a casualty of the family infighting, and her response was to fill him in on the singer at McCall. Audra says she should have told him about that. Kyle shrugs it off. This way his surprise was genuine, and Victoria thought that because she withheld information, it would change his opinion of her. Audra asks, "Does it?" Kyle says no, and that Victoria now believes she has him as an ally. Audra smiles, "Nicely done." Kyle warns, "She doesn't completely trust you." Nate arrives at Victoria's desk with a red rose and imagines he looks like a walking cliché. She says, "You definitely do." He's sorry for creating this tension between them and wants to find a way for them to get past this. "Can we?" Victoria closes the office door. Nate declares it was a mistake for him not to immediately tell her what was going on. Victoria took it as a warning sign and wonders what else he's not telling her. Nate insists he was acting to protect her and the company. Victoria's been through this before. Nate says, "It won't happen again. I am not like them." Victoria asks why he didn't come to her from the start. Nate says he's still an outsider, viewed with suspicion. Victoria's not sure she can trust him. Nate tells her, "Let's get out of here. Go away for the weekend and see if we can find a way to get past this." Victoria supposes it's worth a try. They embrace. At the ranch, Nikki complains that Adam's stirring things up again, and this time enlisted Nicholas to get involved. It's been nothing but trouble since Victor bought McCall and forced those two to work together. Victor sighs, "The fact that Nicholas was willing to side with Adam, to me, is a positive." Nikki warns he can only push them so far before it backfires. At Crimson Lights, Nick and Adam fill Sharon in on Victor's cold-blooded move against Sally and complain about his need to remind them that he's always in charge. Adam thinks he's making moves with their company if he hasn't started already. It would really put them in their place if he took it over completely. Sharon muses that she'd still own half. Adam feels they can't afford to wait. They have to take the fight to him. Nick snarls, "Are you kidding me, Adam? That's your answer." Nick complains about Adam wanting to push things further with no thought to the consequences. Adam's worried about the consequences if they don't act. Sharon thinks a preemptive move may not be a bad idea. She agrees that Victor's been all over them since day one and the company has become his vision and not theirs. It's almost as though he expects SNA to fail. Maybe so he can come in later and save the day. Adam says they have to find a way to take back control. Nick is sure this is not the way to handle things and bows out, "I need a break." In Audra's suite, she tells Kyle she knows Victoria's not her biggest fan. Kyle thinks she's too smart and talented for her to let her go. Audra worries she could replace her with her talented COO, who is Victoria's new bestie. Kyle insists his being on good terms with her is a good thing. Audra reveals that she no longer has Nate as an ally in the C-suite. Kyle shrugs that he's looking out for himself. That's what he does. Audra asks, "What about you? When the going gets tough, are you the kind of guy who only looks out for himself?" Kyle leans toward Audra and says, "I will always have your back." They kiss as he adds, "Count on me." Things turn intimate. In the park, Chloe brands Victor a heartless jerk. Sally protests. He said it's just business, and that's how it works. Chloe insists it was personal and deliberate. She's sorry and asks Sally what she'll do now. Esther says they'll get back to work, that's what. Sally reminds them the Chancellor Winter's job is no longer an option. Esther says, "Whatever doesn't kill will make you stronger." Chloe steps away to take a call from Chelsea, and Sally tells Esther she put herself in this position by getting involved with not just one, but two Newman men. She feels terrible that Chloe got caught up in it. Esther assures her she's a good friend, which is more important than business. Chloe rejoins Esther and Sally and reports that Chelsea and Connor are going out of town for a while to spend time with her mom. Sally thinks it might be just what Connor needs. Chloe says she'll be working remotely and offered her a job as her assistant at Marchetti. Esther notices she's not excited. Sally thinks she should take it since it seems their company just wasn't meant to be. In Victoria's office, she and Nate get hot and heavy after locking the door. She's removing his tie when Nate's phone rings with a call from her dad. Victoria urges him to take it. Nate answers and Victor asks him if he's looked at the Kirsten McCall business plan as he requested. Nate says he has. "I have thoughts." Victor wants to hear them and summons him to the ranch. Victoria tells Nate, "I don't like this. My father's up to something. He has a plan and you're a part of it." Nate thinks it's a good thing, but Victoria argues, "He's pulling you away from me." She thinks he's planning to replace Adam with Nate. It's a smart move, I'm just not sure that I like it. Nate takes this as she's forgiven him. She pulls him into a kiss. At the ranch, Nikki muses, "So you plan to use Nate as a threat to Adam?" Victor says he's not a threat, he's insurance. Nikki says Adam will see through it. It will only upset him and create more chaos. Victor asks Nikki to trust him. "I know what I'm doing." At Crimson Lights, Sharon tells Adam that Nick will calm down. He wants what they all want. Adam's more concerned about Connor right now. Sharon assures him that the fact he found the school near Anita's on his own is encouraging. Adam fears that he and Chelsea have passed on their darkness and struggles to him. "It breaks my heart, Sharon." Sharon says he'll get help. He wants help. Adam wants him to heal so their relationship doesn't become like his with his father, which only gets worse. At Society, Nick tells Sally that he chewed his father out for dropping her. This is why he didn't want her working with him in the first place. He reveals that Sharon and Adam want to break away from Victor. Sally frowns. "Won't that just make things worse?" Nick is trying to play peacemaker, but eventually, something has to give, and God help us all when it does.